back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from Van Halen's Right Now. Now, typically with Van Halen songs, we tune our guitar down 1/2 step. But in this one, you're going to keep it in standard tuning, which is what you always do in Van Halen songs where the keyboards or piano are dominant. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into it. All right, now before we break up the solo into different sections, let me play the whole thing for you slowly. I found that with Van Halen, it really helps to learn the solo at slow speed so you can get the phrasing just right and then work your way up to the normal speed. So I'm going to play through the whole thing slowly, and I'll repeat this toward the end so you can practice along to it. All right, here we go. Now this first part I'm going to show you, I don't really consider it part of the solo, but I think a lot of people do, and they'll be expecting it. I consider it more of a segue into the solo, but either way, it goes like this. So it's pretty simple. You're basically playing the 7th fret of the D string and applying pinch harmonics. And you can see with my right hand that I'm varying where I pick, because that will impact how the pinch harmonic sounds. But I wouldn't get too hung up on trying to get the pinch harmonic to sound exactly like Eddie does. But if you like the way that I approximated it, let me play it for you one more time and watch where my picking hand is. But keep in mind, obviously, with different guitars and different scale lengths, etc., results will vary. Okay, so section 1 goes like this, normal and then slow speed. Now let's break that up into 3 separate sections. The first part's going to go like this. Now this part's pretty simple. You just want to make sure with that first bend that you kind of take your time getting up to the top before you apply that wide vibrato. And then with the second bend, that's a quick bend up. So here's this first little part one more time slowly. At the very end, that 10th fret note there with the vibrato, that vibrato you're going to do pretty quickly because you're immediately going to jump into the next part. That next part goes like this. And at the very end where you do the 12th fret of the G string, you apply the pinch harmonics, given a wide vibrato, and then slide down. You're going to slide down pretty quickly while you're doing that vibrato, like this. Then we jump into the last part of this section, which goes like this. Now notice when I get to the 3rd fret of the A string, and then it shows me sliding up to the 10th fret, and then back down to the 3rd fret. Okay, I would not get hung up on sliding up exactly to the 10th fret. That's what Eddie does, but I don't think he calculated that and said, oh, I'm just going to slide up to the 10th fret. He's just kind of doing this motion, right? The sliding up and down motion. So just slide up and down quickly, and if you don't hit that 10th fret, that's totally fine. You don't want it to sound robotic. Okay, so if you're trying to search for that 10th fret, it might sound robotic. So just let it kind of flow out. All right, here's this whole section one more time, normal and then slow speed. Section 2 goes like this, normal and then slow speed. Now notice with the first bend that we come down halfway and then go back up again. A lot of times I'll see people tab this and play it wherein they come down all the way. But when you do that, you're not hitting that sweet spot halfway down, right? So you really want to make sure you don't come down all the way. Come down halfway and then back up. All right, here's this whole section. One more time, regular and then slow speed. All right, section 3, very classic type of lick, very Chuck Berry-ish. Goes like this, normal and then slow speed. There's really not much more to explain to that one. Let's move to the next part. Section 4, we have a continuation of those classic Chuck Berry-ish licks, and here it is at regular and then slow speed. Notice that with the first bend and the third bend, you're going to kind of dig in a little bit more and take your time on those bends versus the second and the fourth bends, which go up a little bit quicker. Also, I want to call out that notice where I have that 14th fret slide up to the 16th fret of the G string. You're going to slide into that 16th fret really quick and go right up into the bend. So here's this whole section one more time, regular and then slow speed. All right, section 5 goes like this, regular and then slow speed. Now with this one, I see a lot of people overcomplicate it, and they put in extra notes that aren't even there. So for example, let's cut it in half. This first half, a lot of times at the very end, they'll do another 12th fret to 10th fret pull off at the D string, like this. And then they'll do the same thing at the very end of the second half. They'll add in additional notes to the end of that too. That's really overcomplicating things, and if you really slow down the original and listen closely, he doesn't do that. Eddie just plays these notes. All right, here's this section one more time, regular and then slow speed. Section 6 goes like this, regular and then slow speed. Now you can see with that first slide from the 10th fret to the 12th fret of the A string, you're sliding quickly up into that 12th fret. You don't want to linger on that 10th fret. You just you're going to go through that note quickly, like this. And then see where we play the 10th fret of the B string followed by the 10th fret of the E string? Those two notes are actually going by also a little bit quicker than the rest of the notes. A lot of times I'll see it tabbed where people just play those notes at the same time. You can probably do that and most people won't notice. But if you listen carefully, Eddie rakes across those two strings quickly, like this. And then notice later on where we have the 10th fret of the B and the E played at the same time. A lot of times I'll see this tabbed where people will play one of those notes or the other. They'll either play the 10th fret of the E or the 10th fret of the B. They won't play them both. But again, when I slow down the original and listen closely, Eddie is playing both of those strings at the same time. So here's this whole section one more time, regular and then slow speed. All right, the final section, section 7, goes like this, regular and then slow speed. Now with those last three bends, the 20th fret of the B string, I've seen that tabbed a lot of different ways. But when I slow down the original song, this is what I hear. And a lot of times people will also miss that final bend at the 20th fret. And you can actually leave that out and just go like this. But when I listen closely, I can hear that last note hit. All right, here's this whole section one more time, regular and then slow speed.
All right, now it's time to pull it all together. I'm going to play the entire solo all the way through slowly so you can practice along. All right, let's go.
That was my video showing you how to play the guitar solo from Van Halen's Right Now. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.